It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My name is Sam Tarantino. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I'm the CEO of Chromatic FM. My co-founder of Groove Shark, who I met, we decided to kind of take a stab at building something that was solving the problem of illegal downloads. We built Groove Shark to 35 million users, 60 million in revenue at one point, and it was everything beyond our wildest imagination as an entrepreneur. All the stories that you hear about success were all kind of coming true for us. So having seen that side of the coin, and then having seen this failure side of it where we were sued for, I forget what the number was, like $30 billion or something, and then having lost it all, I had to fire 140 employees all at once, and then I had to shut the company down, give everyone kind of their money back at 80 cents to $1. So what's interesting was we sort of split the company in half. We're kind of co-CEOs. I did everything sort of business, PR, marketing, sales, revenue, raising money, etc. And then he did everything tech and product development and things like that. So our teams were kind of half and half, and for 10 years that was the way things worked. And I trusted him, he trusted me, and we sort of built this bond of sort of best friendship. And so anyway, when we shut down Groove Shark, our plan was to kind of start over and build the next company together, but that wasn't going to be because he ended up at 29. They found him in his bed asleep and just didn't wake up. And so that to me was the first time I've ever dealt with death at that, like, right in your face level. For a year, it was this sort of spiral of feeling lost and not understanding why. Like, why did all this happen? What did I do wrong? Like, why was I essentially punished for life? I moved to Denver in July of 2016, and I made a decision that I need to be focusing on the choice of being happy. After a while, being sad all the time was just depressing, and it was exhausting. And I was, New York is not a place that's very people don't describe New York as warm and cozy. And it's a harsh place. And so, back to the you can choose to be happy thing. I had always loved these mountains growing up. I had always loved outdoors. And it was always one of these things that, one day I'll go raise a family there. The hardest thing to do is to sort of maintain positivity despite the world sort of collapsing around you at times. You can't really affect the things that are happening to you, but you can affect how you interact with them and deal with them. For a while there, I really didn't think I was going to recover. And I know if he was sitting there, he was always very dismissive about small stuff and don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. And so I can just totally see him just saying, it's going to be fine, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I focus on athleticism as a way to both strengthen myself psychologically and strengthen my body physically and strengthen my business inspiration, because it's very hard to build a company when you're not inspired. I found most of my best ideas have come from when I've been climbing a 14er or going down an awesome run, and I'm like, wait a second, that's how I should approach this problem. I start with first me. Am I getting stronger both physically and mentally? The answer to those is yes. Then you start with the next circle, concentric circle, which I say is my group of friends and community. And in that group is people that I have believed in me, people that I believe in, and the sort of closer-knit people that bring positivity to your life. And then the third concentric circle, I think, is more the further removed one, which is more like community service. People you don't know necessarily, but are impacting in a positive way. It's very easy in the entrepreneurial world, especially in bigger cities like San Fran and New York, to get caught up in that chase of the bigger apartment, the bigger valuation, the big exits, and things like that. And the reality is, every story I have of Groove Shark is crazy stories of things that we had a blast working on or building, and things that we were doing with Josh and the team. And so this time around, it's been 2 years since he passed, and I have a much bigger sense of just enjoyment of this process. versus constantly being stressed out about a future thing that doesn't even exist yet. In this second company, we're 9 months in, essentially, and I've gotten more done personally. The team has gotten more done than the same team of the same amount of people at Groove Shark had for 2.5 years. And that's barely focusing on any real end result, just being here and enjoying the process and hiring people that I really enjoy working with and being around, and being inspired by the things that I do, and the athleticism department, and then also in the community service. You can create an environment where you're training people and hiring on personality and then training from there, and that creates a much tighter knit community. And so I am proud that I sort of kept that legacy going. All of my fears came true, and not only did I survive, but I feel stronger than I've ever felt. And so I think it's funny how we tend to focus so much on the things that scare us, and the things that drive us are the things that scare us. And when the reality is that we already have that power to overcome them in the beginning. I've come full circle at starting over and, being happy again. Our business was thriving with 35 million users, $1 million a month in revenue, and 140 employees, and we're being sued for $17 billion.
It means so much to us that you made it to the end of today's broadcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that the story shared left you feeling empowered to keep going and to not give up on making your change in the world. If this episode impacted you and there's someone you know who would benefit from today's episode, by all means, send it on. And finally, if you're not an Impact Founder member or you're not already receiving our emails, subscribe and go to impactfounder.com.